2020, the year that will forever be synonymous with tragedy, disaster, and loss. We've lost cultural icons, Kobe Bryant, Alex Trebek, and Charlie Brown left free TV, at least for a while. Our kids lost rites of passage, proms, graduations, as they struggled through a year of constant, unpredictable change. We've lost so many of the businesses we love and that make our home special, as they fought for survival and lost that fight, forced to choose between life and livelihood. I lost my pastor. I lost an aunt to COVID-19, and so have so many of us. We've heard tearful story after tearful story of the families devastated by this pandemic, now approaching 1,000 of them just in our region, now 100 more every week. The year started out with unprecedented flooding that only outdid intense floods from just the year before. Then it was the death and search for baby Evelyn Boswell that rocked our community for more than a month. I thought nothing could shake our lives more than that story, but I was wrong. Like so many other times, don't dare ask, what else 2020? Because you'll get an answer you didn't want. January 24th was the first time I covered COVID-19. Then, it was just a mysterious virus in China, far removed. Local doctors still warned that our intense flu season was far more of a concern. I honestly didn't believe it at first when the CDC declared an outbreak in America was inevitable. Then, the week that changed everything. March 10th, the first case in Sullivan County. March 11th, COVID-19 was officially a pandemic. Days after that, I reported on a model that predicted what would happen. The same study predicted that the social distancing measures may need to stay in place for perhaps a year and a half. I thought, surely not. But remember 15 days to slow the spread? That became 30 days to slow the spread. Then we thought a couple of months. Now how many times have we Googled, what day in March is it? A year and a half looks hopeful. At first we held the virus at bay, but we soon became weary. We returned to life as usual perhaps too soon, naively thinking it was over. Do you encourage people from other states to come to Tennessee to vacation?
We hope that people will in fact engage with our businesses here in Tennessee because we've created an environment in those businesses that's safe for patrons.
The number of active cases of COVID-19 in Sevier County has doubled in the past 2 days, exactly 2 weeks after Memorial Day. Division marked 2020, not just about how to handle the pandemic.
I can't breathe.
The high-profile deaths of 3 black people, 2 at the hands of police, sparked pain and outrage. Here at home, it inspired rallies, prayers, meetings with city leaders, protests. It revealed the racism many of us blindly thought wasn't still a thing.
Black lives matter! Black lives are better!
Politics ripped us apart, pushing us to vote in numbers never seen before in our lifetimes, in an election where we're still arguing what the results were. This was a year of distrust and misinformation. As cases skyrocketed to insane proportions in the second half of the year, we didn't trust the health department on health. I haven't written a single story about the pandemic that hasn't been flooded with comments that it was a lie. I'm sure this one will be no different. For every health recommendation, there's a conspiracy theory to counter it.
There is no study that I know of that has said a randomized controlled study, peer-reviewed, that says, oh yes, we took these people with a mask and these people without a mask, and we exposed them to COVID, and oh, it made a big difference.
But a study in the International Journal of Nursing Studies reviewed 19 randomized controlled trials on the use of masks. False information spreads faster than the truth, perhaps because it's easier to handle. It requires less of us. Health advice had to come from business leaders. We didn't even believe the tears of nurses overwhelmed and exhausted by the onslaught.
These patients will be fine and 3 days later they're dead. I've never seen somebody struggle so much to die.
When the hospital morgue filled and a mobile morgue was brought in, we still didn't believe. We've always taken pride in the hospitality of our home, but we became the laughingstock of the nation for a lack of care.
This morgue trailer behind me here, this is very real, as you can see.
But there is light at the end of the tunnel. We now have an approved vaccine with more potential options on the way, even though we still have months to fight before there are enough doses for everyone. As we turn the calendar to a new year, Will 2020 be the year that taught us to take nothing for granted? Will 2021 be the year that we learn to cherish all our blessings? Will this new year be the year that we learn to fight for each other instead of against each other? The year we quash the virus and come out stronger? Or will January 1st simply be March 307th?